In 1680, the founder of the Maratha Empire, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, died. For the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, this was the moment he had been waiting for. He assumed the Marathas were permanently broken, leaving the rich lands of the Deccan wide open for conquest. He was wrong. The newly crowned king was Shivaji's 24-year-old son, Sambhaji. Instead of bracing for invasion, Sambhaji launched a lightning raid on Burhanpur, a critical economic and political center in the Mughal Empire. Maratha soldiers stripped the city of its wealth and left a very clear message for Delhi. The lion may have passed, but the cub was very much alive, and he was fully capable of defending his territory. Sambhaji proved his military dominance to the outside world, but his greatest existential threat was actually waiting for him back home in his own court. His own stepmother, Soyrabai, was actively orchestrating an assassination plot to put her own son on the throne. To guarantee success, she formed an alliance with an unexpected partner, Aurangzeb's rebel son Akbar, offering him Maratha land in exchange for Sambhaji's death. Akbar actually exposed the plot to Sambhaji. In response, the young king neutralized this two-front threat with calculated precision. He showed political mercy to Akbar, granting him asylum in the Deccan, while ruthlessly executing the conspirators within his own palace walls. Before we look at how this young king survived the wrath of a terrified Mughal emperor, make sure to subscribe and like this video for more deep dives into history's most intense conflicts. Surviving this internal coup proved Sambhaji was a politically ruthless king who could secure his borders. Realizing his proxies had failed, Aurangzeb was now forced to take the field himself. Aurangzeb launched a massive retaliation. He marched an overwhelming army of hundreds of thousands of soldiers directly into the Deccan, publicly vowing that he would not wear his crown again until Sambhaji was dead. This map shows the immense scale of the invading Mughal forces. Facing this disadvantage, Sambhaji relied entirely on guerrilla warfare. Instead of pitched battles, Maratha soldiers leveraged dense local geography to remain unseen, executing rapid hit-and-run strikes that slowly bled the emperor's treasury dry. The Marathas were highly effective, but the war took a massive toll. In a devastating blow, Sambhaji lost his top commander and trusted mentor, Hambirrao Moite, who was killed in combat by a stray cannonball. Despite the Marathas losing their most experienced general, Aurangzeb realized he still could not win through pure military force, so he switched his primary weapon from swords to bribes. Aurangzeb started buying off regional Maratha ministers, offering massive tracts of land and silver to rot the empire from the inside out. Sambhaji countered this by planning a secret summit with his ministers at a town called Sangameshwar. To protect the meeting, he leaked fake troop movements, tricking Aurangzeb into sending his main army towards Pune and Akloosh. The trap would have worked perfectly, but Sambhaji's own brothers-in-law, Ganoji and Kanoji, exposed his true location to the Mughals, purely to settle a petty dispute over a piece of land Sambhaji had previously denied them. Following the leaked intelligence, 5,000 Mughal soldiers descended directly on Sangameshwar, completely surrounding Sambhaji and his isolated guard of roughly 150 men. Outnumbered 30-1, Sambhaji and his closest friend, Vicky Kaushal, fought a fierce final stand. They cut down dozens of soldiers before being physically overpowered and captured. After nearly a decade of holding the line against the full might of the Mughal army, a family dispute over property inheritance finally broke the Maratha king's defense. The captured Sambhaji was brought before a triumphant Aurangzeb. The emperor expected the young king to beg for his life, or at the very least convert to Islam in exchange for a pardon. Sambhaji openly laughed at him. He flatly refused to yield a single inch. He insisted that Swaraja, the concept of self-rule, was a conviction shared by his people, an idea that remained untouched even as his own body was bound in iron. As a direct consequence of his defiance, Sambhaji endured weeks of horrific physical torture. He never broke, and on March 11, 1689, he was martyred. Aurangzeb finally secured the physical victory he had obsessed over for a decade. But he completely failed to achieve the psychological surrender he actually needed to end the war. The immediate aftermath proved Sambhaji right. The Marathas instantly crowned his 19-year-old half-brother Rajaram. Fueled entirely by the anger of Sambhaji's martyrdom, they fought with an unstoppable, renewed fury. Aurangzeb spent the rest of his life fighting in the Deccan, coming to a tragic realization before his own death. By executing Sambhaji, he inadvertently turned him into a martyr, guaranteeing the Mughals would eventually be driven from Maratha lands. Aurangzeb had the power to end a life, but he lacked the means to destroy the vision that life inspired, leaving the Deccan to be shaped by Sambhaji's legacy long after the Mughal presence faded.